Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and today we are doing the top 10 fastest cars of the 1990s. These are in order from slowest to fastest in miles per hour, but I am going to give you the 0 to 60 as well. Although the 0 to 60 between these cars are the differences are very minuscule, by the way. This is somebody said they wanted to see more videos about like supercars and more like not just always cheap cars. And I agree. Sounded cool. I want to do cars that aren't just like cheap entry-level cars too sometimes. So we're gonna do some more from now on. We're gonna start it probably just once a week, but we're gonna start doing some more like supercars or higher level cars of that caliber, if that makes any sense. But without further ado, let's get right into the video with number 10. Coming in at the number 10 spot is actually not only my favorite Mercedes of all time, but one of my favorite German cars of all time, and one of my favorite cars just in general of all time, the Mercedes CLK GTR. This thing is rowdy. It has a top speed of 224 miles per hour, which is insane. Yes, it's at number 10. It's technically the slowest on this list, but that is still 224 miles per hour. And it has a 0 to 60 time of 3.5 seconds, which is one of the slower 0 to 60s on this list for sure, because this car is obviously not meant for just straight line speed. It's a CLK GTR. If you have to question the CLK GTR's performance capabilities, look it up in Le Mans. This thing decimated everything. It was insane. On top of that, it looks so sexy. It looks like a perfect mixture of like your typical Le Mans car, but also a road going supercar. And this is gonna sound ridiculous, but every Forza game that comes out, the CLK GTR is one of the first cars I buy. I love them. They're overly expensive for sure, but 224 miles per hour, whew. Coming in at the number 9 spot is the first of many cars that I didn't even know existed before making this video. It is the Schuppan 962CR Porsche. What I'm assuming that means, I did read up a little entry level on this car so I could know a little bit about it, but what I'm assuming that means is that Porsche made the car pretty much, and then Schuppan tuned it, and then they made it into their own thing, kind of like what Hennessy did with the Venom, or what they do with their Vipers and stuff like that. It has a top speed of 230 miles per hour, and it has a 0 to 60 of 3.6 seconds, which is actually 0.1 seconds slower than the CLK GTR, but it's 6 miles per hour faster than the CLK GTR. In terms of looks, it honestly, in my opinion, just looks kind of average. Don't tell Schuppan that, boys, but it looks kind of average, okay? But this performance speaks for itself. Think about how fast it is for a second. 230 miles per hour today in most supercars is not achievable. And they were doing it back in the 90s. Coming in at the number 8 spot is the wonderful Lotec C1000. This is another car that's just like the last car we talked about that I had no idea it even existed before this. It also is another car that I'm assuming was a Mercedes-Benz base, because all over the car it says powered by Mercedes-Benz. But then the company Lotec probably went in and changed some things. It has a top speed of 232 miles per hour and a 0 to 60 of 3.2 seconds. Once again, it looks very, I would say average, but it actually doesn't look average. It looks weird. It looks wacky. I'm not a fan of the looks. I think it looks a little ridiculous. It kind of looks like, I know I keep referencing video games here, but I'm going to say it again. It kind of looks like the cheetah in GTA Online, if that makes any sense. But I do like the looks. It's a weird look, but it's 232 miles per hour and a 3.2 seconds 0 to 60. It speaks for itself. Coming into the number 7 spot is going to another car that I didn't know existed. Get ready to be hearing that a lot, because there's a lot of cars on these lists that I don't know exist. It's called the Koenig C62. Not the Koenigsegg, like you probably thought it was. Nope, just the Koenig. I don't know if this is like the start of the Koenigsegg, but yeah. It has a top speed of 235 miles per hour and a 3.4 second 0 to 60. This car uses the same base as the Schuppan 962CR that we talked about earlier, hence the 62 part of it. So Porsche probably made a car called like the 62, and then everybody else started taking it and doing their own things to it and then calling it their own names, and Koenig is one of them. And when they took that car, they kind of, slapped it around a little bit and gave it the old Koenig treatment, all right? 235 miles per hour is mind-bogglingly, I would get whiplash going that speed, buddy. I would need training. And 3.4 seconds, 0 to 60, I mean, obviously nowadays it's not anything super impressive, but back then, that's crazy. Coming in at number 6 is going to one of the most rare cars on this entire list, actually, and one of the cars that I, again, didn't even know existed, the Jiminez Novia. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not. It has a top speed of 236 miles per hour, which is only one more than the Koenig C62 we just talked about, but it has a 0 to 60 of 3.5 seconds, which is actually 0.1 slower than the Koenig C62. On top of all that, this car is hideous. It is not a good-looking car at all. I don't care what anybody says. They go, no, you gotta... No, it's not good-looking, man. The freaking Koenig C62 looks way better than this, and it only has 1 mile per hour more. So, in my opinion, I'm not a big fan of this Jiminez Novia. Not sold on it yet. Somebody needs to come up to me and be like, hey, listen, this is what it has. Then maybe I'll buy it. Well, I'm not buying it, actually, because I don't have anywhere close to the amount of money it costs to buy it. But if I had the money, there would need to be some hard negotiating there because I'm not a big fan of it. Coming in at the number 5 spot, however, is a car that I am a big fan of and one that I've known existed for a long time, but I never knew it was this fast. The Toyota GT1 road version or just the TS020. It doesn't really matter. They're pretty similar in performance, but the road version is a little bit faster. It has a top speed of 236 miles per hour, which is tied with the Jiminez Novia, but since the GT1 is A, more legendary, B, way more beautiful, and C, gets a faster 0 to 60 time with 3.2 seconds, I put it one spot higher than that ugly abomination of a vehicle that we talked about before. The Toyota GT1, in case you guys don't know, is probably Toyota's best car they've ever made. Not even kidding. Like the Mark IV Supra, obviously incredibly popular, obviously incredibly cool. Great job, Toyota, when they made the Mark IV Supra. However, the GT1 is just perfection from Japan. Like the Mazda 787B, perfection. Toyota GT1, perfection. I don't know if Nissan had any, but they were probably perfection too. When Japan does LMP1 cars, I love it. Coming in at the number 4 spot is the wonderful Lamborghini Diablo VTTT. The VTTT stands for very thick, I don't know. It stands for something. It has a top speed of 239 miles per hour and a 3.2 second 0 to 60. A Diablo going pretty much 240 miles per hour. That's pretty insane. I've already loved the Diablo before I did this. I did not know it was one of the fastest cars of the 90s. And now I love it even more. The Diablo is one of Lamborghini's best cars ever made. And now that I know that it was a freaking almost breaking land speed record level of power, I like it even more. There's nothing to hate about the Diablo. It looks incredible. It took the 300ZX's headlights, which is weird. It is incredibly fast. It has a 240 mile per hour top speed, 3.2 seconds 0 to 60 time. It's incredibly expensive, but that's the only downside. I love the Diablo. If you don't love the Diablo, you're wrong. Third place, the bronze medal for this list, is going to the Mclaren F1. That's right, buddy. That's right. Before I looked up this list to do research on it, I thought as well that the Mclaren F1 was the fastest car of the 90s, but that is not true, sir. Oh, no, it is not. It is the third fastest, and it is the fastest car that was naturally aspirated, and it was road legal, and that's why people were like, okay, this is the fastest car because the other cars aren't road legal and they're not naturally aspirated. But it has a top speed of 240 miles per hour and a 2.9 second 0 to 60 time, which is just incredible. It also came with a BMW motor in it, so that's interesting. It probably brakes every time you step on the gas. And I actually got to see a McLaren F1 in person. I know it's probably the weirdest. I've never seen an FDRX7. I've never seen a Mark IV Supra, but I've seen a McLaren F1 somehow. I don't get it either. But either way, I did see it in person. And when I watched it drive away, dude, it just sounds like it wants to go fast. It sounds angry when it's going slow. It's like it hates it. It hates driving slow, and that is so cool to me. I love the McLaren F1. One of my favorite McLaren in general, dude. I mean, just come on. But coming in at second place is going to the wonderful McLaren F1 GTR Longtail. Not the normal GTR, it actually was a little bit slower, but the Longtail with its beautiful curved aerodynamic lines managed to push out another 3 miles per hour to make it up to 243 miles per hour. It actually did have a slower 0 to 60 time, however, than the normal McLaren F1 with a 3.1 second 0 to 60. However, the F1 GTR is obviously significantly better in terms of performance. It was just better than the F1 in every way for like track performance. And it has a higher top speed, which is pretty crazy. Now, I'm not 100% positive on this, but I also do think this is a turbocharged car. Could be wrong. If it's naturally aspirated, then I honestly don't understand why people were so happy about the normal F1 because it wasn't even the fastest car of its time. Like, I love the F1 too, but the F1 GTR is just faster than it. And there's still one car that's even faster than both those. So let's get into that one. Coming in at first place, the fastest freaking 90s car of all time is called the Dauer 962 Le Mans Porsche. Very long name, but it deserves a long name because it gets a top speed of 253 miles per hour. And it not only has the best top speed of this list by 10 miles per hour, mind you, okay? The last 9 cars were separated by a total of 20 miles per hour. This car is 10 miles per hour faster than the second place. It also has the fastest 0 to 60 time on this list with a 2.7 second 0 to 60. Now, the reason why this car isn't talked about as much as the McLaren F1 is because it's not road legal. It was a track only car, which is definitely makes sense as to why people were like, okay, not as impressive as the F1 was, but that's still insane, dude. 253 miles per hour. And now that it's super old, I guarantee you could drive this on the streets and no one's going to care. They're just going to bask in the glory of it. I guarantee that you could just get it registered as a classic vehicle and drive it wherever you want to. This thing is awesome. It also sounds like it's another one of those 962 Porsches variants made by just a different company. So whatever Dauer's doing, they're doing it right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of the top 10 fastest cars of the 1990s. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. And let me know what other videos that you'd like to see about like other cars. Now that we're doing other things like this, I might be doing this I might do like the top 10 fastest BMWs of all time. Or maybe I'll do like the top 10 fastest sedans of all time. Or maybe the top 10 fastest SUVs of all time. Who knows? We could do anything though, because I kind of like this idea, man. I love making the excuse me, the top 10 cheapest cars videos. I do like doing that. However, oh my god, this is a change up, and I like changes, man. I like changes. They're fun. I know you guys want to see the Integra build. I'm trying. I'm trying. I don't even have an excuse anymore. I'm just going to leave it at that. I am trying, and you guys just need to trust me on that I'm trying. I know it's been so long, and I'm sorry, but it will come eventually. I just have to figure out stuff with my friends. It's a long process. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.